Do you know how to prompt engineer? I don't either. I'm just joking. I have a pretty good idea. But I'm going to teach you in this episode of NeuroBridge in 5 minutes the very first step of what you need to do in prompt engineering. And this is a part of my new series, Prompt Engineering 101. And before you start calling me somebody who's like a complete vibe coder who has no experience in AI, because prompt engineer is, let's be real, not a real job description just yet. I want to make it very clear that anybody who uses any sort of LLM is a prompt engineer. You're a prompt engineer. I'm a prompt engineer. Elon Musk is a prompt engineer. Everyone is a prompt engineer, right? If you've used an AI at any point in your lifetime, you are a prompt engineer because you are trying to refine your prompts to get to a certain point. So that's what prompt engineering is. And everybody can benefit from learning how to prompt a model in a little bit more of an effective way. So in 5 minutes, I'm going to briefly show you what the number one mistake that most prompt engineers make is and how to avoid it. And that mistake is not knowing your objective. So let's say I want to prepare a couple practice materials for my class in math, right? And let's say that I'm studying some very simple concept. I'm studying algebra, right? Let's say that my test is specific to probability and how to algebraically determine probability given like a bunch of different permutations, right? Let's say I say explain algebra 2 in its entirety to me. Would that be an effective prompt? No, it wouldn't. I mean, this is a very obvious example, but this is a key example of you not knowing what you're prompting for. If you're prompting to understand probability in Algebra 2, why would you ask for it to explain Algebra 2 as a whole to you? Doesn't make any sense, right? So it might be a better way to say, um, explain probability in the context of Algebra 2 to me. Right? If you say that to the model, it will explain stuff very, very clearly in terms of the main thing that they're discussing, right? And this will explain some combination stuff, right? This is all very hyper specific, right? It's explaining all the important stuff in an algebra 2 format. But let's say I say explain the entirety of algebra 2 to me. It's gonna struggle. I mean, obviously it's gonna spit it out, right? But it's gonna give you a structured top to bottom tool. Like let's say, like I mean, it's not gonna give you everything that you want, right? It's gonna like go super zoomed out, and then it's gonna give you just this, right, for probability. Whereas if you wanted to get a bunch of in-depth stuff on probability, right, you would have to prompt engineer explain probability in the concept of algebra 2. So knowing your topic is a super important thing. Now, let's give you another example, right? Something a little bit more complex, something that you can probably envision yourself using in the future, right? So let's say, for instance, that you're trying to find yourself a house, right? And you know that your house is in LA, right? And you know that you want your house to be in between $1 and $2 million, right? That's your price range for the house, right? So you say, find me a good quality house between $1 and $2 million in Los Angeles. This is a good prompt, but how can we make it better? We need to recognize what is the AI going to do if we give it this information and we ask it to return some stuff. We have so many different functionalities here that can hyper tune to a specific idea that we're trying to pursue. For instance, if we enable search or deep research, this will enable us to go super deep into the topic and get more accurate results. Whereas if you do this, it'll still call search, right? But it may not do something like deep research. So bottom line is, in a very succinct kind of short format video, to prompt engineer effectively, you need to know what you're asking. You need to understand, why am I going to the LLM versus, I don't know, calling a realtor, right? What am I trying to get out of the LLM? And when you have that clarity, instantly the way you communicate with an LLM completely changes. I've decided that I'm going to make these videos very short so that they're easy for you to consume and you don't need to spend more than a couple minutes on them. So if you like this video and you want to see more of Prompt Engineering 101, please make sure to like and subscribe to Neural Bridge. Thanks, and let's bridge the gap together.